Welcome to this dream share and analysis. I had the craziest dream last night, and I want to share it with you and tell you what I think it means. And then you tell me what you think it means. Do you believe that we go somewhere when we fall asleep? Do you believe that it's a message, or do you believe it's a combination of everything that has happened throughout the day manifesting itself in a dream? Let's see. You let me know. Okay, here's my dream. I somehow arrived at this beautiful grand home. It was in Philadelphia. I don't know how I knew that I was in Philadelphia, but I was in Philadelphia. The home was so beautiful. It was like on its own grounds. It was massive outside. It was red brick. It had like balconies, beautiful landscape all around it. I went in. I'm not sure what was going on. It wasn't a ball. Maybe it was some kind of lecture, but I was there as somewhat of a snooper. Like I just kind of walked in. While I was taking in the floors, they were white and black checkered, marble-y type, this beautiful double staircase, a beautiful chandelier that throughout the dream I could not get out of my head, and I still can't. And it was just massive and grand, and it was just glimmering all over the place. But in the center of it, it had this yellow um, kind of stone that wasn't crystal like the rest of it. And I don't know why that stone made me sad, but I could feel it. I still can feel it as I'm speaking. I heard someone scream, so it took my attention away from everything that I was looking at, and there was someone on the floor, and they needed help. And I ran over to help. And at the same time, my doctor, my real life doctor, approached me and started talking to me about my own health and how I had to stay away and kind of more so concentrate with what I was feeling at that time. And somehow I started to feel sick. But I walked away, and there was all of these doctors and scientists walking around, and I was feeling annoyed because it was almost like they were walking around aimlessly and not really paying attention to the person that was sick. And in my head, in the dream, I was saying, you need to go back. But then my aunt, who is no longer living, um, and my daughter appeared, and we started walking the grounds. And it's like the dynamic of the dream kind of changed. Now we're back to, like, I don't know, we were just three that were always together, and we were just walking grounds. And we ended up on somehow the other side of the house, inside of the house again. The house didn't look the same anymore. It was really gloomy, very eerie. It was just giving us really bad vibe, and we were all just saying like, this just doesn't feel right. Like, it's funny, we're like kind of nervous and scared, but chuckling at the same time. We're like, funny how they are exposing the beautiful house, but look at the rest of the house. It's dirty and unkept, and it's just eerie. And as soon as we said eerie, we looked to the side, and there was a door. We opened the door, and the door kind of like leads to the view of a section of the grounds, almost like if you're looking down a cliff. And it was just dead plants, muddy, just dark, and there were bodies. And when we're saying like we need to go, there are some people that come from like another door. They're getting ready to follow us, but they have like no face, no shape. We don't know what it is. But we knew that we had to leave. And as we're leaving, we end up on the grounds, and it's nice and green. And there's a groundskeeper who also is our tour guide. So he's given us a tour of the grounds. And in our head, we're like, it was almost like we can talk to each other, telepathist. Is that what it is? We were like telling each other, just stay calm and act like you're enjoying the tour. So he's showing us the tour, and it is beautiful. We start to calm down. Everything looks beautiful. It's almost like what we just saw was getting drowned out by the beauty. And then all of a sudden, we took a turn and it got dark again. And we see this woman. I'm pretty sure it's a woman. It was like a body, like a skull body, but something in the dream said it was a woman who was there. Like the body was there. It was skull, bones. And now the groundskeeper is looking angry and chasing us away. And as they're he's chasing us away, the doctors are like across looking aimlessly at us but not paying attention. And I'm trying to yell for help because I am now alone again. I'm trying to yell for help and I wake up. As soon as I woke up, it was like I could remember every piece of the dream, and I still felt that anxiety and that pain, the pain from the yellow stone. As I laid here thinking about the yellow stone, it hit me. I knew what that yellow stone was. It was a yellow jasper, which the meaning of a yellow jasper stone is a or has a lot to do with inner strength and mental clarity. And I think that's why the stone was hurting so much, because although the chandelier had a lot of glitz going on, it was like I was starting to see that there was something wrong. Even prior to getting to the darker side of the dream, I was already kind of in the know that something's not right. This dream was definitely a message. It has a two-part message, I believe, that ties together to my strength, my mental, and my physical health. I am currently job searching and I'm in public health, so I'm kind of debating, do I leave the health field altogether and go another route, or do I stay in the health field and return to the clinical setting? But I've been debating about some of my angst of things that happen in the clinical space that I, as a public health person, don't particularly care for. The other side of that is that next month I'm going in um, for some lab work review of progression of my condition is not looking great. And my frustration, I think, that I have not acknowledged until right now, of doctors dismissing for so many years. I'm nearly 50, dismissing what I had been feeling since I was a teenager, and how maybe if they would have listened to me all those years, my condition maybe wouldn't be where it's at, because I finally didn't get a diagnosis until I was in my late 30s. So I think maybe as I am thinking of this visit that I have next month, I didn't realize that I have a little bit of animosity for those who did not do right by listening to me when I was saying all of the things that I felt in the past. And so I think that was thrown in there like a message of you need to deal with maybe some of the, I wouldn't say anger, but disappointment that you feel. So I felt like that part was a message. But the part of the dream that is the biggest to me is that all of the shiny grounds that were really hiding the gloominess is the current toxicity that I'm facing with in my job. Right, it's this big company that just seems so beautiful and seem not beautiful, but amazing, and lures people in with all of these greatness, and everyone there is very unhappy. And I think that's all those bodies that I saw, because everyone there is insanely unhappy. A lot of people leaving, a lot of sadness, a lot of um, frustration, anxiety. I mean, this is just daily, daily, daily. So I think that the message from that dream, the majority of it, the people chasing me, the groundskeeper who was nice and then turned into not so nice, the scientists and doctors who were looking on but not really doing much. These all represent where I am feeling in this current job. And the overall message and why I think I felt like that woman was me, the overall warning here is that if you don't get away from the current employment situation and if you don't deal with your health, um, not physically, right? I'm not saying, oh, I'm gonna die. I don't in my bones and bones, I don't feel like that was the message. It was the message that mentally and spiritually, I'm going to continue to decline. That part of my well being will continue to decline. I think it was a really strong message that I need it. I need it. I think my aunt and my daughter would being there was perfect because my aunt was someone who lived in a lot of darkness. She had a lot of depression. She had a lot of pain. She had a lot of undiagnosed conditions that weren't learned into very late in her life. And she also just kind of took things. Um, instead of standing her ground. And it just put her in a very dark space. My daughter kind of also sometimes like sheds off to the dark space, but she has this amazing talent of being your cheerleader, being the person who says, if you say like, I need $100. She'll be the person who says, "You already have that $100. That $100 is already there. It's already in your pocket, right?" She really likes to speak things into the universe. So I think they were the mixture. My aunt was kind of my safe haven when I was a little girl, and my daughter is kind of like that other side of my brain that I don't allow to happen because I'm so analytical. I'm a true Aquarius, very analytical. Um, and although I'm someone who reads tarot cards, who gets messages, who, believe it or not, can at times speak to people who show up, who should not be on earth right now, and will speak to me. Although I can do all of that, when it comes to everyday things like finances, like jobs, like things like that, I'm very analytical. And so she is the part of my brain that will help me dream a little bit. So I feel like they were there to show me that you need to remember not to go this way because you saw what could happen when you go this way. And you need to remember to dream. Okay. And I think, you know, along with the message, because this dream was definitely a message, I do feel that it was a little bit also of what happens in your day to day, manifesting into your dream. Again, I am job hunting. I am very unhappy at my job. I am worried about what is the progression of my disease. I did have a big argument with my daughter yesterday because, again, sometimes my analytical side and her more dreamer side just don't mix. And I have been thinking about my loved ones because I'm Mexican and Dia de los Muertos is big for us, and been thinking about how to, honoring everyone who has gone in our life. So some will say, you had this dream because of this, but I will stick to that the dream is a message because of the way that it presented itself. The dream could have very simply been a replay of everything that's been going on. Instead, the dream played out like a movie so that I can wake up and think about every piece of this movie that played in my sleep and get the message. Because that's the funny thing about the universe. It's never going to clearly give you a message. It's not going to say, hey, you, this is what you need to do, or hey, you, this is what's wrong. It's going to give you a lot of signs, whether in the dream world, whether in your living world, things that um, are off to cause you to think. I've been seeing a lot of numbers. Um, that have been nonstop. And when I look up these numbers, I finally gave in and look up the numbers as to remind myself, what is it that these numbers mean again? And it was dead on. It's dead on. It's like the universe keeps telling me, like, you need to move on. And I think that I need to stay in the health field because in the dream, the annoyance of the doctor, I feel like it wasn't just for me, right? Because there were all these doctors that I felt weren't doing anything, but there was my doctor in that dream, and he wanted me to focus on my health. And he is someone who has made a very big difference in my life health wise. So I feel like his role in there was a reminder that doctors like him are the reason that I want to be in this field. So I think I need to stay in this field, but move away a little bit from what I'm currently doing back into something that hit me when I woke up that I'm just going to hold on to a little bit to myself. But it was another like little message. Um, and maybe I'll come back and add that what that was in the dream that led me to think that way. Maybe on TikTok or Instagram. But I'm going to hold on to that piece just a little bit because, superstition and whatnot. Um, but everyone in that dream, while I've had some interaction with them in the living or thought of them, um, they had to play the roles that they played in that dream in order for me to get that message. That stone had to be there because if you look up the meaning, it goes pretty much deeper than the light overview that I just gave it. It really speaks to everything that I'm going through right now. It could have been any stone, and it was that stone. So this was definitely a message. So you let me know, what do you think? Do you think it was a message? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think it was just, hey girl, you were just, recapping what happened during the day? Let me know what you think. If you've been here this long, thank you for listening. And I hope you all have a great day, night, morning, wherever you are. Just have a beautiful, peaceful day. Thank you.